Hey, what's up, comrades? We're back. Volume 32 of Fairy Tale. Sweet, we're almost halfway there. All right, so we pick up right in the middle of the contest. Everybody's cheering, super happy about everything. Fairy Tale's super excited, except Elfman, who has a uniform for Wendy. They found her. She got like knocked out. They run in there to check on her, and Luciana mentions that there aren't any external injuries, but that there's something definitely wrong. At that point, Grenady or Pella Porliuska shows up, and Wendy talks about how she saw some like that little black creature she saw, and then she lost like all her magic, and so she needs to recover. And she gets super pissed off because she trained so hard and stuff. And Elfman swears that he's gonna do everything he can, and then Grandiny from Idalus, or however you pronounce it, mentions that she's like gives Wendy a drink and says she's going to make sure she's healed. She swears it, and then they have like a cute little moment. Then the team A here, Fairy Tale, runs out and everyone's cheering, and we get like there's like all the 8 guilds that are in, and everyone's getting introduced. There's Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale has a big victory sign and everything, and even Master Mavis is there in like her ghost form, but only Fairy Tale can see her. And then the other contestants that made it through ahead of them are Quattro Cerberus, which is like some random guild. Then there's Mermaid Hill, which is an all-female guild with a bunch of babes and such. Then there's Blue Pegasus, which is our fun Ichio Sama. There's Lamia Scale with Jura and Leon and Sherry. But Sherry's not actually competing. It's like Sherry's sister, which is like Sharia or something. And she's like a klutz. Yeah, Sharia. Pawash. But she's a hot, lowly girl. And then Leon and Gray at that point like talk about trading Juvia depending on who wins and whatnot. It's like stupid. Then Raventail. Oh no, Raventail was a dark guild, but then they haven't done any dark things for a while, and also, so they're here now and they all look evil as shit. And the other thing about Raventail is that they're led by Makarov's son, Laxus's father. What an asshole. Let's see. Ivan, that's his name. So Ivan's there, and he's super shady. And then Natsu gets super mad because we see the little creature that stole the magic from Wendy, and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck those dudes up." But before then, we get the second to last guild, which is Fairy Tale again. What? So Fairy Tale Team B is Mira Jane, Juvia, Gajil, Laxus, and Mystagon. Mystagon, the fuck's he doing here? I thought he was the prince who stayed back in Idlos. That's right, he is. But who's this? It's Jalil pretending to be Mystagon. That's right. So apparently everybody, the reason there were so many guilds, I don't know if I mentioned this, but they were like, wow, there's like 140 guilds. This seems like way too many. There was too many because they allowed 2 teams from each guild to participate, and Fairy Tale got 2 guilds in there, or 2 teams in there. Ooh, awesome. And so now Natsu gets like, what is it, fired. He's all fired up because he gets a face-off against Gajil and against Laxus. And then there's like a little conversation about, wait a second, Mystagon's not here. And then Urtza's like, wait a second. And it's like, and then, Jalel made like a deal with Makarov to sneak him in there as Mystagon because he's the other world Mystagon. And then Mavis is like, wait a second, did you fucking cheat? And because he's actually a member of Fairy Tale. And she's like, you're going to get punished for this. And he's like, no. But then she's like, well, helps Fairy Tale win. I approve. And everyone's like, yay. And then the last team is Sabretooth. Sabretooth has Sting and our boy Rogue and then some other like, sketchy looking people, and it's like, all right, awesome. So then we learn about the contest. So every day there's going to be like a secret game and then a battle, and the battles are going to be 1-on-1, and then the sponsors of the game are going to determine who actually battles. And then every day right before the event there'll be the secret mission or the special event that will be revealed, and then they'll explain and they get to choose who gets to play it. So the first one's called Hidden. So we get Jaeger from Quattro Cerberus, Beth from Mermaid Hill. Beth is like a girl next door farmer lady. There's Null Pudding from Raventail. He has some sort of like Mr. Fantastic abilities or something. There's Eve from Blue Pegasus, who's like, he's an ice guy, but not like the same ice. He's not like an ice maker. He's like a cool guy. Then we get Rufus from Sabretooth, who's a bard of the Red Moon or some crazy nonsense. And we get Leon and Gray. So they can fight for Juvia. And then Juvia's like, I'll go! And so we get the love triangle that is really just Juvia's in love with Gray. Gray is ambivalent / is in love with Juvia. And then we get Leon, who is fighting. And then we see, before that battle can begin, we see Maruda and Urter ult here, and they're like, fucking good, Jalil. Anyway, so then we get, Mavis explains kind of how the system works, like first place gets 10 points, second 8, blah, blah, blah. And then for the battle, that's for the first stage, and then the second stage for the battles, they fight. If the one person wins, he gets 10 points, the other person gets 0. If there's a draw, then it's 5 points each. So then the pumpkin explains that they're going to build like this cute little city and they're going to create a bunch of duplicates, kind of like that. If you ever played the old Assassin's Creeds that were good, they had like this multiplayer game where you'd like wander around and try to hide and then assassinate like a specific target. But if you assassinate the wrong target, you lost. Like it is that fucking game. Like if you go back and play like Assassin's Creed, I think it started in Assassin's Creed, one of the Assassin's Creed 2s, probably the second one, Revelations or whatever. They had this multiplayer. I used to play the shit out of that game. It was so fucking awesome. But yeah, that's what it is. You're like, they have to hunt somebody down, or they just have to hunt anybody down. But if they attack, there's a whole bunch of like fake people, and if they attack one of the fake people, they lose points. And so it's like, holy shit, what are we gonna do? And immediately Juvia is like in love because there's so many grays. So she grabs one of the grays and loses points because she attacked that gray. And then we get Null Pudding, who is like specifically targeting Gray. And then him and Gray kind of go at it and he beats the shit out of Gray. In that, he gets him a couple times and Gray loses points. So immediately we have Gray and Juvia for the 2 fairy tale guilds in like last place. While everyone else is like neutral. So that goes on for a bit. We get some more fighting back and forth. We see this like crazy redhead-haired lady, like Flair, I think is her name. And she's got like crazy eyes and she's staring at Lucy and calling her Blondie and has like crazy eyes and whatnot. Then we get some Jaeger and Leon and, you know, everybody just fights. And we get some hot shots of Juvia attacking Leon. And then Null Pudding keeps going after Gray. And then there's a whole thing where... Why is Juvia here? Why is she on this team? What did the old man promise? So Juvia, so the promise was to get like all these guys to go because of course you have like Team B is all like the misfits, right? Like Mary Jane, Gajil, Laxus, Jalil, and Juvia. And so the deal was if whatever fairy tale team wins gets to have the other fairy tale team essentially be their slaves, or they can ask them to do anything. And so then Laxus is going to have Natsu be like his servant. Gajil is going to have Lucy do like the bunny dance from before. Juvia is going to have Gray take her on a date. Mary Jane wants Urza to be her servant. And then Natsu, all he wants when he finds out about the deal is he wants Gajil and Laxus to smile and not be such Debbie Downers all the time. Anyway, so the battle continues. It ends up, Eve ends up beating the shit out of a bunch of guys by freezing everybody, which causes like a difference in reaction to everybody except the things. But then right at the end, Rufus is like standing on the top of a tower and he casts some crazy like falling star magic and it blasts everybody. And then he beats the shit out of Null Pudding when he tries to attack him. And then the contest is over. So Sabretooth won, then Raventail, Lamia Scale, Blue Pegasus, Mermaid Hill, Quattro Cerberus, and Fairy Tale lost their 7th and 8th place at the very bottom, and Gray is the worst. And he's super pissed off about it. Everyone's laughing, making fun of Fairy Tale, Datsu's screaming. Anyway, Gray wanders off and he like punches the fucking wall and he's super pissed. Oh yeah, we find out that Rufus is a maker wizard. He's a maker of like dream magic or some shit. What did he say? He is a maker... Right, no, the following so he's a memory maker, so he uses people's memories and stuff. And then we see Flair finally in all her sexy glory, with like her fucking crazy eyes, but sexy red hair and giant breasts, and she's fighting Lucy. So excellent, this battle's amazing. So that's who gets chosen: Lucy versus Flair, which was hinted at earlier, and both sexy as shit. So that's fantastic. Flair is definitely the kind of girl you want to avoid. She is so insane. So anyway, they fight. Lucy's beating the shit out of her with all her summoning and doing double summons and triple summons, and everyone's like super impressed that she's able to do this. We find out that Flair's magic is all like in her hair. She's like Medusa from what do they call them on the moon in the Marvel comics? Her name's Medusa. They are the Eternals? No. The fuck? They are... I don't remember what their name is. It starts with an I. It's fucking... not the Immortals. It's the I don't remember. Anyway, it's like Medusa from Marvel if you want to look. So she uses her hair. She's attacking. Lucy's beating the shit out of her. Lucy's using like her whip, and they go back and forth a little bit. But you know, Lucy's a badass now. But all of a sudden, Flair starts using like sneaky attack. So she sends one of her pieces of hair to attack Asuka, who's the daughter of the 2 gun people. And so Lucy can't do anything because she's done anything. This Flair chick's gonna like attack Asuka, which is fucked up. And then while Lucy's like struggling with that, we see this asshole who's the captain, Lord Zareth. Wait, no, he's Captain Arcadios, and some guy's trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Oh, is everything going well?" And he's like, "Yes, it is ripening. The magic is coming. This is the year. We will wait and see Lord Zareth." And it's like, "Oh, clearly this is the dude who's this catchy magic that Ultir and Maruda are after." Anyway, back to the battle. Lucy's getting the shit kicked out of her now because she can't do anything to protect Asuka. And then the rest of the fairy tale's like, "What's going on?" And then she's thinking about Wendy and thinking about everything else. And then she's all like tied up with the hair magic, and then the Flare is gonna like replace her fairy tale mark with a Raventail one. And then at some point Natsu's like, hold up, something's amiss, and he kind of realizes what's going on, and so he takes off and he grabs the hair and yanks on it, which fucks Flare up. And so Lucy is able to come out, and then she summons Gemini, and Gemini shows up in a towel. So now we got Sexy Lucy, and then Sexy Lucy in a towel, and I'm like, God, this is the best thing ever. Gemini is the best thing that ever happened to this manga, and everyone in the crowd agrees with me. Like literally, they're like, yeah, boy. And so they do some super powerful attack. It's like and then we see like underboob and everything, and this is like her ultimate attack. They combine together, and it's called like Urna Metra, and it summons all the powers of all the things, and everyone's like super impressed that she's able to cast this. And so she's going, and it's about to go, and then somebody in the crowd, again one of Raventail, like cancels it out somehow, and she's like, fuck, I'm done, because that sapped all her magic. It's like a one and done kind of situation. So somehow someone made some sort of effect that canceled the magic out, and everyone on Fairy Tail at least is like, this is sketchy as shit. And then we get the panty shot of Lucy, and I'm like, ooh, I was mad, but now I'm happy again. Yeah, boy. And then Flare's like, what the fuck just happened? But I guess I would. Take that. And Lucy's like crying and super sad, and Natsu runs out, and he's like, save your tears from when we win. I'm all fired. And she's like, no, but we're losing. And he's like, I love fighting back from when we're losing. And so he picks Lucy up, his girlfriend, and like takes her to like so she can go shower and like cry it out. And then she runs back to Elfman and Urza, and they're watching the battle. We see that Ren, who is like the Sundari guy, who's like, oh, I don't care about you, blah, blah, blah. Him and Sherry are like engaged, I guess. And then love. And then he's still like a super Sundari. He's like, oh, I wish you wouldn't talk to me. And then she's like, oh, guys, you don't understand. He's got a soft side. And it's like super precious. But he's fighting the Lamia scale lady. And he beats the shit out of her. And then we have Sabretooth, who's going against... Who does he go against? He's going against the guy from Cerebus, and he just like beats the shit out of him. This guy's like crying magic, and then the Sabretooth guy just like beats the shit out of him in like one shot. He's just like, but I'm done. And then we have Mystigan versus Jura, and so that's an epic battle because Jalil, if you remember, is a wizard saint, and Jura is a wizard saint, so it's like super overpowered and whatnot. And so then we get a shot, like Juvia's all sad, Apotamus, Gray's all sad, Apotamus, Wendy's like crying and holding Carla, and then we get a shot of Lucy where we can see almost everything except her tits. Like literally just her nipples, and she's crying in the shower, which is sad but also super hot. And then the battle begins, and so they're going back and forth. At some point, Ultir is like, this fucking Jalil is going to try to impress Urza, and he's going to fuck up this whole thing for us and ruin it. So I might have to do something. And so then we get an epic shonen battle between Jura and Mystigan, which is very good because they're like homies. Quote unquote. And like Jura at some point realizes that it's Jalil, and he's like, YOLO, let's do this. And so they're fighting. He's using like his earth magic. Jalil's using like Mystigan's like staff magic and all that stuff, but it's not like his actual magic, so he's having a hard time. But then he starts casting one of like his spells, Jalil's spells, and then Ultir's like, this motherfucker. And so all of a sudden he stops, and he's like laughing and falling over because she had Marudi use her like sense abilities on her, like Uni from Nikkei Goddess of Victory. And then she starts tickling her and pulling on her tongue and stuff, and that defeats Mystigan. So then, once again, Fairy Tail loses their battles, save 0 points. And then Mavis is looking at Makarov, and she's like, you're in a lot of fucking trouble, mister. And then Urza's like, oh, sweetie. And then he's like, oh, God damn it. Like, Jalil's like, oh, God damn it. And then we get this funny outro where we see Lucy coming out looking hot as shit still. And then we get this like overtalk, and it's like, so ended day 1 of the Grand Magic Games. We could not have gotten off to a worse start. And then we see the captain being like, the ripening. And then we see Wendy and like Carla's like getting a premonition, and she's like, wait, what did I just foresee? And then Levy, who's writing all this, is like, to my dear friend Lucy, like something like all this stuff that's going on there was something behind the scenes that was much, 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 much worse. And it's like, da-dun! And that ends this volume. And then we get a super hot shot of this chick from Blue Pegasus, who's like one of the announcers for the games. And I don't know who she is. I didn't mention her, but she's not important. But damn, this guy knows how to draw. It's fucking amazing. Anyway, so that's volume 32. It's excellent as always. So go ahead, like, share, subscribe, comment, and I will catch you guys in a couple weeks for volume 33. All right, deuces.